Good. Man, J Mac, I was just on a call right now, and I'm closing this deal for 93 a month, and she wants something for her husband too.
Nice.
Yeah,
Way to start off a Monday, man.
that's right.
Who did you use?
I went with the CFG.
I like CFG.
Yeah, CFG instant approval. I like it too.
Yeah, that's solid.
Yeah. I was gonna go with Omaha, but she's not too tech savvy. So, sometimes with Omaha, there's a little bit of issues with
The app, the signature.
yeah, with the signature process and everything. And she was like, if anything with computers, I don't want to do it. So second.
Hi.
I said good morning. Take those things out of your ears.
Uh-oh.
So today, I'm gonna be doing I guess a little training on what I do on the for Telesales. I was just texting Trey right now. So there's a
I'll
few
ask you
things.
questions if you need me to, Orlando, but you got this. Orlando's one of the best telesales people we got, so y'all listen to him. He knows what he's doing.
Well, thank you, Trey. I just saw you're on right now, but yeah, I mean, I just wanted to kind of go through a few things for me that I think are important when it comes to telesales. You may agree with everything or not, but you just take pieces of people's stuff and apply it to your own. But for me, there's two things that are very important. Number one is being calm on the phone, and having structure with your script. If you don't have any structure with your script, you're going to be all over the place, and the client will guide the whole conversation, and it's not a good thing. I've heard way too many other agents that are a little too customer servicey on the line, and what happens is they're on the phone and they think, or maybe they feel that because they're being nice to the client, that they're going to buy from them, and that's not true. If they're a buyer, they're going to buy from someone who's just monotone, and they're just going to close that deal. So don't think that because you spent an hour listening to their problems and what they're going through, that they're going to close with you and buy a policy from you. It's actually easier for them to just hang up on you because now they think we're friends, and oh, you know what, call me next week. So there's a few things in the structure right? My introduction is very, very basic, very non-salesy. So when I first make a phone call and they pick up, I just say, hello, John. If they say yes, that's another thing too. Assume that that's them on the phone. Don't ever ask, hi, is this Mr. Smith? And don't ever call them by Mr. You just call them by John, by their first name, and you make it seem like you know them. So when you call them, you say, hello, John. Hey, John, how you doing? This is Orlando. I'm giving you a call here from the Insurance Benefit Center. This is in regards to that form you filled out requesting that life insurance plans. You had put your beneficiary as, such and such. Is that correct? And if they say yes, then you say, okay, great. And then I got your date of birth here as 11/20/1968. Is that correct? Yes. Okay, great, John. Just want to let you know we did process your request here. So you've already made your introduction. Once you make your introduction, at that point, you've established who you are, why you're calling, they know exactly what's going on. So once you've established that, then comes the next part, which is super important. This is where you're collecting data, and this is where you jump into your power questions. So one of the first questions that I ask is, John, have you been shopping for insurance for a while, or am I the first person you talk to? Now, if it doesn't matter what they say, if they say, I've been shopping for a while, or you're the first person I spoke, it doesn't matter, right? Because you're guiding them through your funnel. So regardless of what they say, you say, oh, okay, great. That sounds good. Now, if they do say, I've been shopping for a while, that's when I ask more questions, right? What was the result of that? Did you apply? Did you get declined? Were the prices too high? So they'll give me the data and they'll let me know, what exactly they're looking for. So if they tell me, oh, I just got some quotes or whatever. Okay, great. You just kind of breeze through that. And then I'll step into my next question. Now, John, are you just shopping something for yourself, or are you also looking for a spouse? Right? That's also important because now you're collecting data. You're trying to close more than one policy. If you can get two, even better. So once I ask that question, if they say no, just for me or just for my spouse, all right, great. And then I jump into the, are you working or are you retired question, right? You want to know that. Why? Because if they're retired, there's a high possibility that they might be dealing with Direct Express card, or they're dealing with the bank. So obviously you're going to ask that question. So if they say, well, I'm retired, okay, great. Now, John, are you dealing with a traditional bank, or do you get your deposits into a Direct Express card? And if they say Direct Express, well, then obviously you can pivot to Transamerica or pivot to Prosperity or any other company that takes Direct Express. But you kind of already know where you're going with that. So once I get those power questions down, I ask maybe 3 or 4. I try to get as much data. Then I jump into Joe script, which he uses in the in-home, but I found that it actually works both in-home and on the phone. So at that point, I just let them know, okay, great, John, let me just tell you a little bit about us. My name's Orlando. We're just the underwriters here in the state of Texas.
My buddy Orlando.
Very simple.
Yeah.
When I let them know my job is very
Yeah,
simple, I'm just the underwriter, right? So my job is just to see if you qualify or if you don't qualify. Now, John, if you do qualify, I'm going to give you a few options to write down. Once we decide which one of those options best fits your budget, you can apply for coverage at that point, or you can decline coverage. Does that make sense? Okay. So if he says that makes sense, okay, great. Now, John, if you decide to apply for coverage, okay, the insurance carrier is going to ask for your basic information like name, date of birth, social, banking information. Is that something you're comfortable with doing over the phone today? At that point, if they say yes, there is no reason why you should have any objections 1 year in the application process, because they already know how it's going to go. Now, if they say, I'm not comfortable doing this over the phone, well, then you turn it into a hybrid appointment or a hybrid situation where you let them know, Okay, no worries. They actually have me dispatched tomorrow for those people who are not interested in doing this over the phone, but I come out to you in person. Obviously, this is only for local leads, right? But you let them know I can be out there dispatched tomorrow, between, this time and this time, what works best for you. So now you can turn it into an in-home presentation where you can drive to them. But most of the time, if your tone is right, they'll say yes over the phone. So that's how I go ahead and do my structure when I do Joe's script. It's very easy at this point for me to, if I have them on the phone, I'm closing them if they're giving me a chance to actually, pitch them and be able to do my full presentation, I guess. Now at that point, I go through the financial inventory sheet, ask them health questions or whatnot, and I just go ahead and push forward. And then once I find something for them, I'll let them know, out of these three options, John, which one do you feel best fits your budget and your needs? And you let them decide. The biggest thing I've learned is people don't like to be sold, but they do like to buy. So if you make it seem like they're the ones that made the decision on which package they want or which, coverage, then they're more than happy to comply with everything. They'll give you their social, they'll give you their information. I think it's been maybe 2 months for me that I have not had an objection at all, as far as like, why do you need my social? Why do you need my banking information? But that's because of the structure that's set up that I have. Charles, the script that I use is a combination of my own Deidre's phone script and then Joe's in-home script. So I'm actually going to be typing that out, Charles, so I can email it to you if you want to put your email down. But it's very simple, right? It's introduction, power questions, and then Joe's script. My job is simple: qualify, do not qualify, go with that. And then after that, if they say yes to okay with moving forward, you shouldn't have any objections. And then the tone of voice, don't be too overly customer servicey. It's not going to get you anywhere. You can be nice, but I don't really build rapport until I'm submitting the application. Okay, so I get everyone has their own style, and if it's working for you, great. But for me, it's all about time and efficiency. If you're not gonna buy from me, I would rather get you off the phone in 3 minutes than to spend 30 minutes trying to convince you or be nice to you and ask you about your day and everything like that. I save that once I'm submitting the application because there is some silent time. So once I'm doing the application process, I let them know, okay, let me pull up the application so that I can go ahead and get this submitted. At that point, there's obviously some silent time. That's when I'll be like, so John, how's your day? How's retirement treating you? What's life like? Or do you have any grandkids? That's when I jump into the whole, building rapport with them. But in the beginning, remember, if you're dialing through phone burner, right, you're trying to get to the yeses as fast as possible. And that means you got to go through a lot of no's. But at some point, I think sometimes it's more important to identify who's not a buyer versus identifying who is a buyer, because some people waste way too much time with non-buyers thinking that they are, because we're trying to close a deal, right? We're just trying to make it happen. But as important as it is to identify who's a buyer, I also believe it's important on who's not a buyer. Don't waste your time. Go through the numbers. If they hang up on you, don't call them back and call them back and call them back. Like, just move on. That probably comes from a lack of not having enough leads, really, right? Because it's like, well, I only bought 20, so I can only dial 20, so I'm gonna keep dialing the same ones over and over. But it's just not worth your time to keep shooting your shot with people who are not gonna buy from you. And that's okay. Not everyone is a buyer, and your job is not to sell to everyone. Your job is to find those who are looking, right, and close them and help them get coverage. So but that's really the script that I use. And then with my tone, like I said, it's very, you know, there's high tones, low tones. But for the most part, I try to stay neutral, just letting them know that, hey, I'm just here to help you. Your tone has got to be kind of like, I don't care if you do this or not, it's your family, right? But obviously you do care because we also want to get paid for our time. But that should be your tone of voice of like, look, I'm just an underwriter, man. I get paid regardless. I'm not on the sell side. I'm on the health question side. So my job is to get you day one coverage with an A-rated carrier. Does that make sense, John? So that's really, you know, all I have. I don't know if anyone has questions.
I
But
have a question.
yeah,
Hey, Orlando, how you doing today?
pretty good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. Hey, I just wanted to know, like lead types you're buying, and like the ratios you're getting from them. Like if you're buying instance and like how many instance you buy to how many you close. I know everybody's a little bit different, but I like to hear like what each person's doing.
So I buy, well, in the beginning, right, when you're trying to, and again, this is for people who are trying to do telesales only. I would suggest, you know, buy the older the better because they're less expensive. But what you really want to do is like get your script down, right, and practice your script on cheap leads. Because those leads are a lot harder, but it's going to make you sharper when you actually get to the 3-month-olds, and then you buy the 1-month-olds, and then maybe now you're buying fresh leads. So I started with 3-month-olds, right, and then I moved up to the 1 months, right, and now I'm buying a little bit more quality leads, you know, from the CRM. So I'll buy instance, 3-month-olds, 1-month-olds. I mean, it really doesn't matter at this point. For me, my confidence is through the roof. I don't care about getting all the information. I just need a name and a number because the rest I can gather with my questions. But you know, do what works for you, right? I mean, if you're buying mortgage leads, old mortgage leads, and you know it works, do it. You know, but for me personally, I buy 3-month-olds and 1-month-old leads. So those are the leads that I'm working. Any other questions? Trey, you got any of this Trey on here still?
Yes.
Big
So,
Trey. Yeah.
so how do you present the numbers, Orlando? Do you have them write them down? Do you show 2 options, 3 options?
I show 3 options. And if I feel, you know, obviously when you go through the financial inventory sheet and you ask questions of like, are you retired? You want to ask them how much are you bringing in? I try to stay within 5 to 7% of their income, and I'll let them know, okay, grab a pen and paper, and then I'll let them know, you know, I'm gonna have you write down these numbers, and then write down the number after that. So it's like 10,000 in coverage, 15,000, and then 20,000, and then they'll write that down, and then I'll give them the pricing, and then after that, I'll say, John, out of these 3 options, which one do you feel best fits your budget? Now, once I give them that, Trey, they write it down. If they say I like the 15, I just jump right into the application. Okay, great. Let me pull up the application here. And then I do remind them, now, John, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We still gotta get you approved for the coverage. Life insurance is not something you buy, it's something you got to qualify for. Does that make sense? So then
Yes.
they'll say, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, great. And then I just go right into the application process. If they like the 15,000. Now, once I'm in the application, Trey, I'll try to get a little bit more premium. So what I'll do is I'll give them the 15,000, right? Let's just say it's $100. But once I'm in the application, you can always push them a little more. So I'll always ask them like, hey, I know I said it's 100 for 15,000, but 17,500 is only $115. Do you want to just get that one instead? And then most of the time it works. Like, yeah, that's not bad. I could do that. So I always try to squeeze another 10, 15, $20 premiums out of them. So I'll give you an example, Trey. Today, I actually, after this, I got to call this client back, but use my script on her, gave her 3 options. I gave her the 7, the 8, and the 10. And she said her budget was between $40 and $60 a month. I pushed her to 15,000 for 93, and that's what she wants to go with. And I repeatedly asked her, are you comfortable with that 93.31? If you get approved, it's day 1 coverage, just so you know, there's no 2-year waiting period. And she was like, yeah, I can do that. I can do that. So, I just triple confirmed with her, but it always works, man. So anytime a client tells you their budget, you can always squeeze in another $15 to $20 premium add-on onto that. Whether you want to add more death benefit or add an accidental. So you can always squeeze in a little bit, right? So you can do the whole umbrella coverage. Hey, for $100, I can get you 15,000, but for $10, I can get you 50,000 in accidental. So if you pass away from an accident, John, your family is going to get $65,000 in life insurance. So, you just cover it as an umbrella.
I love that.
But that's typically what I do to get extra premium from the clients.
What do you do as far as like, do you send them anything to build credibility, your state license, your photo ID? Do you text folks anything like that, or email them, or?
Not in the beginning, trade. Surprisingly, I do that at the end.
Okay.
So there's a few things. Once I actually submitted the application and it got approved, Trey, at the end, I'll say, hey, John, do you receive text messages? And if they say, most of them say yes, I'll be like, okay, perfect. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to text you my information, right? And I'm going to text you my information, my Texas license, and I actually send them a picture of the license. And I'll give you a story right now that it actually helped me. But I do that, and then what I'll do is I'll say, I'll text them the amount of coverage, the premium they're paying, and if the payment was set for a future date, when that date is going to be. So I'm pretty much covering all my bases in case, they call me out saying, hey, you told me it was only going to be 60 a month. Why are they charging me 100 or whatever? I can always revert back to the text message and be like, no, this is, and I always let them know, please respond okay that you received it. So I do send them at the end all my information, right? Texas license. I'll text them, what's it called? Their premium, when they're going to pay, and how much coverage they got. And that's pretty much it. But again, I don't know if it's my tone of voice or the script. I rarely get any objections of like, I don't trust you, or I don't know if this is you. But just to give you a story, I actually had a client, Trey, who never got his policy in the mail from AIG, and he messaged me, hey man, if I don't get my policy by tomorrow, I'm canceling because I think this is a scam anyway. And I tried calling him. I texted him, hey, give me a chance to correct this. I was like, it's not a scam. And then like 30 minutes later, Trey, he texts me back, hey, Orlando, I'm so sorry for insulting you. I saw the text message with your license number, and I actually Googled it on the website that it has there, and I found out you're legit. So just please get back to me. Let me know if I can get my policy. And I got it handled. He got the policy, so he's all good now. But that was a lot of credibility that bought me and saved that policy.
Dude, I love that.
Yeah, and that was 150 a month. So
nice.
Yeah.
Dude, what about like for you, how do you measure success day to day? Like, are you trying to get so many people to go get a pen and paper to write something down? Or are you trying to get so many people on the phone? Is it just purely how many sales you make?
Yeah, so my goal, right, is from 8 to 12 is I'm trying to close one. And obviously you got to go through the numbers. But the way that I measure, like, if this is going to be a good call, is based on if they let me go through my pitch. So if I get to the introduction at the end and they don't hang up on me, and they don't, like, even if they question me, that's fine. But if they don't hang up on me and they give me a chance, I feel like I'm at 85 or 90%, I'm going to close this one. So I'm not afraid at this point to ask difficult questions or be blunt about what we're trying to do here. So if there's a client who's like, I'm just shopping, I don't want to do anything today, I'll ask them straight out, John, what's it going to take for me to earn your business today? So, you just don't be afraid, man. Just be, especially with telesales, right? It's like the more honest you are with them, they actually appreciate it more. So if I'm able to go through my introduction tray where they don't interrupt me and I go through if they say yes, that's my beneficiary. And then if I say, is this your date of birth? And they say yes, I feel like, okay, this is a good call. They're not interjecting, they're not saying anything negative. So now it's up to me to do the rest, right? To guide them in the process. And that introduction is, hey, so have you been shopping for a while, John, or am I the first person you talk to? And then I just have a conversation with them. I don't sound like a robot. I sound like a human being. Maybe throw in a few jokes here and there, but try to keep it structured. And if they go through my questions, my power questions tray, I feel like I'm going to close it. Like it's just going well. At that point, it's just numbers, right? Like try to find something that actually meets their budget and their need. But
Got it.
But yeah, I measure success by, if I can close one by noon, then that's good, right? Obviously I would want to close more, but it's just a numbers game.
And then as far as your schedule, like how often are you doing this? Is this 7 days a week, 12 hours a day? Or are you trying to build some structure where you don't do it that way?
Yeah, so I do have a full-time job, so I try to do it from 8 or 7 a.m. to 12, because I don't go into my full-time job till 1 p.m. So if I can close 1 or 2 before 12, then that's how I measure success. And that's only Monday through Friday. And then Saturdays, I dial from 7 or 8 a.m. till about 1 or 2 p.m.
Nice. Dude,
So,
how much do you issue a month part-time like that? What's your best month so far?
My best month just doing that, about 13,000.
Dude, that's solid.
Yeah. So I'm trying to hit 30,000 this month with that schedule for the month of September. But yeah, I mean, yeah.
How much do you, so if you invested $3,000 in leads, like how much would you expect to issue from that? Do you have like a ratio you look at, or?
I haven't really like boiled down my numbers like that. But man, if I'm spending 3,000 in leads, Trey, I'm expecting to close more than 10 grand. That's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. Like I'm gonna work it until I get my money back and profit.
Yep.
So yeah, that's definitely what I'm looking to do. But that's another thing too, right? Like don't be afraid to reinvest back in your business and buying leads. Without leads, there's no oil in the car, right? There is no gas in the car. And I just know that because that used to be me, a long time ago. It was like I would buy leads and I try to hoard all the money when I closed it,
Right.
And I wanted to keep working the same 50 leads that I bought for the next 3 months. And it's like, it's just not how it works. But yeah, I mean, I would just suggest for people trying to get into telesales, get your script down, get your tone of voice down. Once you feel like you got it, then you can invest in better quality leads. Whatever that means to you, whether it's the 3 months or 1 month or fresh internet leads, because your script is going to be solid at that point of going through so many objections. And let's be honest, you're only going to get the same 3 objections, right? I'm not interested. I didn't fill it out. I already took care of it. And for me personally, I love when people tell me that. I love when people say, oh, I already took care of it. Perfect. Which one of our carriers did you go with? That to me just says that they're a buyer, right?
Right. Exactly.
So when they tell me, oh, I already took care of it and got something, that's an opportunity for me to try to earn their business. Oh, okay, great. Well, look, have you thought about shopping around? I don't know about you, but me personally, I like to make sure I'm getting the best deal. When it comes to shopping for anything, right? Insurance, a backpack, a vehicle, it doesn't matter. I want to get the best price possible. So, I'll just be straight up with them and just ask them, well, Mrs., Miss Riley, what is it going to take for me to earn your business? How much coverage did you get? And what are you paying for that? And dude, I've been able to reverse so many deals out of that because a lot of these people have Globe Life, Lumico, or Lincoln Heritage, and it's super expensive. So
Yeah.
when they tell me the name of the company, I'm like, oh, okay, well, is there a reason you went with them? Like, are you severely ill or something, or really sick? And they'll be like, no, I'm not sick. Oh, okay. I'm just curious why you didn't go with a company that offers day one coverage, and it's a lot more affordable than what you're currently paying. And then I'll throw a number out, right? If they tell me like, oh, I'm paying, X amount for 10,000, I'll be like, because I have a carrier here right now offering you that same 10,000 for $20 less. So I can actually get you 15,000 for the same price you're paying right now. And then most of them are like, oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then why don't we do this? Why don't we try applying for this coverage and see if we can get you approved, and then we can help you cancel the other one. So it's the same objections. But if you treat them like people, right? And you just talk to them like if it's your neighbor, like, hey, you know what? We recommend stuff all the time. So, hey man, I saw there was a better deal over here. So do the same thing in insurance.
Mm-hmm. Dude, that was powerful.
So it's
Hey,
just
so do you think, now having done this, because you used to do in-home too, so
yeah.
For a new agent, do you think you could set it up where a new agent could get good at this without actually going into the home first? And if you could, like, what would be the structure you would have somebody follow to get good at telesales starting out?
Let me see. I would prefer if they went out on the field. The reason I think I'm good at telesales is because I've been in the field, and you can kind of get a scenario basis of what's going on without being in the in-home. So
Right.
I kind, you know what I mean? Like I kind of know what's going on because I've been in the home before. With someone brand new, Trey, who's never been in the in-home and they're just doing straight telesales, right? They have no idea what the client's posture is, what the client's facial expression is. I try to play that out in my own head because I've been in it before. So the more in-homes you're in, you'll learn a lot more than just straight doing telesales from the beginning. Right? 1,000, what is it? What do I say? A couple hours in the field is worth 1,000 hours in the training room, because you're you're really gonna go through it. You're gonna be talking to a lot of people, and you're gonna get objections, and you're only gonna get sharper. But I think a lot of people take it as failure. But just know that when you're doing that, you're sharpening your axe. So when you decide to transfer to telesales, it'll just be a lot quicker of a learning curve than it would be just straight doing. But don't get me wrong, there's people out there that they've been in the debt collection industry or whatever, and they're good on the phones. If that were to be the issue or the scenario, Trey, then at that point it's just giving them structure on the phone. So I would give them a script, and then the objections that they're going to go through. I would just guide them on like, look, these are the objections you're going to get. The faster you learn to go through them, you'll be able to close more deals over the phone.
I love it.
Orlando,
Yeah.
is there a chance we could get that structure in writing, like your script? Because I'd really like that.
Yeah, Mark, I'm going to be emailing it to everyone who puts their email address on the chat room.
How do you put your email in the chat room?
Go to chat on the bottom.
On your phone, it might say more. And then
Oh,
you click
more.
that
Garrett,
first.
there it is. Chat, there it is. Okay,
There you go.
I'll put it down.
Hey,
Thank
Orlando.
you.
Yeah.
How do you handle husband and wives? Like, are you maybe like three-waying the husband and wife in, like when they're available, or are you just ignoring it completely and just going with the person that you're on the phone with? How you handling that? I
try to close whoever I have on the phone. So again, with the script, the way I have it structured, like right now, again, with this client in particular that I'm calling after, she wants something for her and her husband. So I try to separate the both to be like, okay, well, let's start with you first, because if I hang up the phone, right, and then they're not on the hook for anything, and this is only for telesales, right? But they're not on the hook for anything because they didn't give me any information. There's no account, so now I'm playing the follow-up game. But if I have her on the phone and with my script, I'm telling her, hey, this is what we're going to do, and she says okay, then she's agreeing to going through the full process. So if she says, well, let's go ahead and do it and get it done right now, okay, great. Well, then I'm going to submit an application for her and get her approved, because now she's on the hook, and now she trusts me because I got her approved. She's good. So it'll be a lot easier for me to get the husband on the phone in a few hours or the next day and then close him. Because now she's going to be like, well, Orlando got me insurance, so now I'm looking for something for you. So I need you to call Orlando, or you're going to answer him when he calls you so that we can get you approved. But this is only for telesales. So I would much rather get that one person, whoever I have on the phone, and go through with it. And again, Daniel, to be honest, bro, I don't really get that objection of like, well, I don't make decisions without my wife or anything like that. And I think it's because of the way the script is structured. So the one thing that Joe taught me was, if you can overcome objections before they even happen, then it's a lot easier to move forward. Especially with the way his script is set up, and then with the power questions you have. You're really not going to get those types of objections unless you're creating them yourself, which that does happen, right? There's agents who talk too much and they get themselves in trouble, right? So if you bring it up, oh, well, is this something that maybe you and your wife want to do together or whatever, then you're just digging yourself in a hole. But you just assume the sell, man. If whoever you have on the phone, that's who you're closing that day. And if your husband wants insurance, I can call a couple hours later if he's going to be home from his doctor's appointment, and then I'm going to close him. It's that easy.
That's awesome.
That was awesome.
So, hold on.
Hi, Orlando.
Hello.
About how many leads do you buy per dial day?
So I buy in just like once a week. So I'll buy anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500.
Got it.
Especially
Thank you.
yeah, especially if there's a great deal, then I try to buy more. There's a great discount.
How's your persistency been on the phone, Orlando? Do you get more cancels doing it phone sales than you did in the home, or?
No, Trey, actually it's actually better on the phone. I rarely get cancellations.
Nice.
You got to understand something. When you're doing it over the phone, Trey, most of these people don't want to redo this again. So so once you get it done and you confirm yourself with them by sending them, the policy number and all that, or sorry, not the policy number, but your Texas license or whatever license you have in whatever state, and you confirm everything. Most people, I haven't had any like cancels. I've had more cancels from the beginning that I did in home, Trey, than I actually have from telesales.
Love it.
It's kind of weird because it's like you would expect more chargebacks, right? More cancellations over the phone, but I've actually had clients call me back saying they want more coverage. So I don't subscribe to that notion that I'm going to get more chargebacks or more cancellations. But you just got to solidify yourself with the client over the phone. Send them text messages. Another thing that I learned at that big event that we went through, the 8% event, Trey, was when you're gathering data and you're building rapport, I like to ask basic questions like, hey, are you a big coffee drinker or something? If they say, oh yeah, I love my Starbucks or whatever, then if they're a very cool client and I like the conversation we have, once I close a deal and everything's done, I'll send them a $10 gift card to Starbucks on the mail. just to solidify the deal.
Love it.
Ask for referrals, you know, on the card. Hey, if you know anyone else, here's $10 gift card on me. Enjoy your Starbucks. Thank you for letting me earn your business.
Dude, that's legit.
Yeah, there's nothing like letting them know that you earned their business, right? To them
Yeah.
psychologically, right? Because when you earn their business, you don't want to just throw that away. It took time for you to earn it, especially someone who you never met in person at all. So it's all psychology, right? It's all asking better questions, getting to know your client over the phone, and making sure that you know, you do as much as you can to solidify the sale.
Sweet. Well, I don't have any other questions.
And I'm trying to think of, I just really wanted to touch on those two things. It's right, structure on the phone, Trey, and then tone of voice, right? So don't be overly customer servicey. Don't call them Mr. Smith or Mr. their last name. You call them by their first name. So you pretend like you know them, right? Like I've heard agents talk on the phone, and the client will answer, and they'll say, "Hi, is this Robert?" And it's like, what are they going to say? Well, it depends who's asking, or you know, what is this regarding to? So when they answer the phone, you just go straight into it. Hello, Robert, right? Or sometimes if I hear their voicemail, hey, this is Bobby, right? And I know his lead name says Robert. I'm calling him Bobby. That's what he put on his voicemail. So, hey, man, I'm not a stranger. You fill out a form and I'm calling you, Bobby. So use what you can to your advantage.
What about text messages, or if you get the people that can't do it right then, what do you do?
Okay, so yes, let me share what I text. Let me take a look here. So I'm just going to read it out. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You know, but if I only send text messages, Trey, if they answer and they hang up, like, oh, I'm not interested, or I didn't fill that out, or whatever, then I'll send them a text message. And this text message, this is what it says. Hello, client name. This is Orlando Perez with the Insurance Benefit Center. I'm the field underwriter assigned to get you the information you requested regarding life insurance plans and its benefits. We're doing everything virtually now. It only takes about 10 minutes to go over. What time are you available for me to give you a call today or tomorrow? So sometimes I'll get text messages, call me tomorrow at 3 or call me at 10. And now they're kind of booking themselves with you. And then you just put that in your calendar. And then I'll just respond saying, okay, perfect. I'll call you tomorrow at 3 from this number.
Awesome.
But other than that,
That's great.
Yeah, other than that, Trey, I mean, there's a lot better trainers out there than me. I'm just telling you guys what I do. Take you know, pieces of people's script that you like, or things to overcome objections, and then apply it to yourself. Eventually it'll morph into its own thing for you, and then it'll work with you, because you got to apply it to your personality. If you're naturally a guy who just speaks very low tones and everything, right? Don't jump on the call and be like, hey, John, how are you? It's just not going to come out right. You know, so you got to apply it to your personality. So, you know, I like cracking jokes on the phone. Sometimes I'll crack jokes with the clients, but I only do that once I'm submitting the application. Once I'm submitting the application, then I reveal my personality a little bit more. And you know, I'm more of a human with them, as far as like, because being too nice to clients, Trey, can derail the whole situation, because now they think they can discuss their whole life to you, and it derails you from the purpose of the call. You're on the phone for 2 hours, And then you don't close it because now they're like, oh, sorry, I got my doctor's appointment. I forgot to tell you, can I call you back? You know, and now you just lost the sale and you're like, oh my God, I just spent 2 hours with this lady trying to, you know, think, or 2 hours with this guy trying to, you know, listen to him. And now I lost the sale. And now good luck getting a hold of them again. So I'm more interested in the one call close. If I got you on the phone and you let me in the script tray, I'm closing you. There is no follow-up, right? But obviously your follow-up game's got to be strong, because there are going to be situations where, you know, clients are just, they're busy, you know, they're at the office or a doctor's office, or, you know, they're with the grandbabies, whatever it is. And if you follow up, that's your job, right? It's not the client's job to answer the phone. It's your job to follow up when you said you were going to.
Yeah.
So keep a schedule, keep a calendar. And you can do that through Ringy, right? Or phone burner.
Which one do you use?
I use phone burner, but I think I'm going to be switching to Ringy.
Nice.
Yeah, it has a lot of good benefits that I've been seeing videos on. So
Nice.
um,
Why do you think agents fail at this?
they're they expect every lead to buy.
Yeah.
And when they call and they're like, I didn't fill this out, they get discouraged, and they think that something's wrong with their schedule, or I mean, sorry, with their script. And it's like, no, dude, it's not you. It's a numbers game. Understand the leads, the leads you're buying, right? We're buying 3-month-old leads. So you got to go through the numbers. So
Right.
I think a lot of people have a mindset that because I purchase these leads, everyone should buy from me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, it's because you purchase these leads, you're giving yourself an opportunity to sell someone. But there's other things that come with purchasing leads, right? It's not just the buying of the leads, it's the sharpening of your phone skills. It's the sharpening of your script. It's getting it better. It's watching more videos, watching more trainings. How can you get better? But don't shy away from doing the do, because everyone, I've seen a lot of agents that come into this office, Trey, and it's like they're trying to avoid dialing. They want to know everything before they dial and pick up the phone. And I'm like, dude, you're going to learn more from someone telling you to go F yourself on the phone than you are from all these trainings. So just call, pick up the phone and start dialing.
Amen.
Trust me, you know. And then they make up all these scenarios in their head. And I'm like, come on, man, just dial. Like, stop avoiding the work, you know. You can't get away from it. If you hate dialing, Telesales is not for you.
That's right.
Right.
Well,
I hear a lot of agents say that. Oh man, dial day, I hate it. And I'm like, all right, dude, then just stick to it in the field, because you can't do telesales without dialing. So,
well, when I started in insurance, like, I hated the phone so much that the reason, you know, if I'd have had the option to do telesales, I wouldn't have done it, because the only reprieve I had from being on the phone was being in front of people face to face.
Yeah.
Or door knocking.
Yeah.
You know, because I couldn't stand just sitting there dialing and doing that all day.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's like anything else. You build up stamina. And how important is it not to compare yourself to other people? I think a lot of people get on Facebook and they, you know, or Instagram, and they see so-and-so wrote $74,000 in a week or something. And then they're like, I'm doing terrible because I made 3 sales.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, don't compare yourself to them, but feel free to reach out to them. Be like, dude, what are you doing? Because you want to get better, right? And and another thing, you don't know what industry they come from.
Right.
You know, you don't know if they already had a book of business that it was easy for them to tap into and sell, you know, 30,000-40,000 in a week. But that's because it was all warm clients. You don't know the whole story. You just see the number. So don't compare yourself, your journey as a beginner to someone who is already midway point in their journey, and you're thinking, I need to be like them. And it's like, no, you don't. Like, you need to learn to sharpen your skills, understand where you're coming from, understand that, you're transitioning from a employed person to a self-employed to a business owner. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that go with that. You can't compare yourself to someone who's been doing that already. And every client you help is a victory to you.
Yeah. Yep. That's right.
Right. So, you're building your book of business now. And guess what? 5 years from now, if you're still in here, you'll be able to help that new agent who's comparing himself to you. And now you're like, hey man, don't do that. That used to be me and it didn't work. Just stay in your lane, focus on your productivity and focus on your leads, and you'll build your book of business at some point. But for you to compare yourself to someone who's been there for years, it's like, it's not going to work. It's like me comparing myself to Andrew Taylor. It's like, come on, man. He's been doing this since he was 18,
Right.
So you can't compare your journey to someone else's. But use that as motivation, inspiration, that it's possible, like, oh my God. But yeah, it makes me question sometimes when I see those big numbers. I'm like, man, what are they saying? Like, and sometimes, you know what I mean? You're just like, wow, what are you saying? Your script, man. How are you closing something? It's almost like every person that picks up, you're closing. But you don't know the whole story, right? They're probably getting no's more than you are.
Yep, that's right.
That's really what it is they're just going through the numbers.
Well, dude, this has been excellent. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, no. I have Lisa Oliver. She asked, do you bulk text your older leads, like the ones you haven't gotten a hold of in a while, or just move on? No, I do text them, Lisa. Again, you paid for every lead. You're trying to get every lead as much as you can. So the ones that I've been dialing and they just don't pick up, yeah, I'll start sending them text messages. Hey Lisa, this is Orlando. You filled out a form. You put beneficiary. I'll send that text that I just read earlier. So yeah, I do my best to reach out to them. But at some point, Lisa, when you buy so many leads, you're just looking for the lookers. That's all. Right? You're not going to get everyone, and not everyone's going to buy. Not everyone's going to be sold. You're just looking for the ones that are ready to buy when you call and they pick up the phone. I think, like I said earlier, right, Trey? I think a lot of people don't buy enough leads, and then they get stuck on that same 50 or 100 they bought, and they just want to keep burning through the same 100s. You're only going to get so much out of that 100, right? It's just a numbers game. It's just the way it is. Maybe you can squeeze another one, but guess what? The time it takes you to squeeze that one extra one, you could have bought another fresh batch of 100 leads and closed 5 or 10 automatically because they're sitting waiting for someone to call.
Yep. I'm into that.
Yeah. So it's all
right,
about
well,
time efficiency.
I'm going to jump
man.
off. I got to get on another.
Yeah, I got to call my client right now and
You guys can keep
follow
going.
up and close that deal. Thank you for having me, Trey. I appreciate it, man. I hope I was able to help someone and with telesales and stuff. So I'll send over the script for anyone who put their email here on the chat room.
Love it.
Appreciate it,
Well, thanks
Orlando.
for jumping on, and we'll talk to you again here soon. Thank you, Orlando.
Thank you, Trey. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Orlando.
No worries.